Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Meow. Today, I will teach you how to make English part of your life, which will help you get more accustomed to and understand the English environment in real life. Learning English can be easy if you know how to use it every day. When I first started learning English, I thought it was very difficult. The words were long and the grammar looked strange. I did not know where to start. But later, I found a way to make English a part of my life. I realized that the best way to learn is not only to study books, but also to use English in daily life. At the beginning, I tried to memorize many words from a dictionary. I wrote long lists and tried to remember them. But after a few days, I forgot almost everything. It was frustrating. Then I changed my method. I started to learn words from real life. When I watched a movie, I picked a few new words. When I read a short article, I wrote down words I did not know. Then I tried to use these words in sentences. Using words in real situations helped me remember them better. Listening is very important too. At first, I could not understand anything in English. People spoke too fast, and I felt lost. But I decided to listen every day. I found easy materials like children's stories, short news, and simple conversations. I listened slowly and repeated many times. At first, I understood only one or two words, but I kept practicing. After a few weeks, I could understand more. Listening every day made my ears familiar with English sounds. Speaking was also a challenge. I was shy and afraid to make mistakes. I thought people would laugh at me, so I did not speak for a long time. But later, I realized that speaking is necessary to learn English. I started to talk to myself at home. I looked at the mirror and said simple sentences like, I am happy today, or I like this food. Then I joined a small English group. Everyone made mistakes, so nobody laughed. Slowly, I felt more confident. I learned that mistakes are not bad. Mistakes help you learn. Reading helped me a lot too. At first, I could not read long books. I started with children's stories. The sentences were short and easy. I felt happy when I finished a story. Then I read another story. Soon, I could read small novels for learners. Reading gave me new words and showed me how sentences are made. It also gave me ideas for speaking. When I read interesting stories, I wanted to share them in English with friends. Writing was important as well. One year, I wrote a diary every day. I wrote about my life, my feelings, and my thoughts. At first, my sentences were short. I wrote things like, "Today I went to school," or "I ate lunch with my friend." After a few weeks, my sentences became longer. I wrote small stories and letters to friends. Writing every day helped me remember words and grammar better. After a few months, I noticed that my English was improving. I could understand simple movies, read short stories, and speak with friends. But I wanted to do more. I wanted English to be part of my daily life, not just something I studied at school. So, I made a new plan. I decided to use English every day in small ways. One thing I did was listen to English every day. I listened to short podcasts, songs, and news clips. At first, I understood only a few words, but I kept listening. I paused and wrote down new words. I repeated sentences and tried to speak like the speaker. Listening every day trained my ears. Slowly, I could understand more and more. Listening is important because it helps you speak naturally. I also practice speaking every day. I spoke to myself at home. I described what I did and what I wanted to do. For example, I said, "Today I will go to the park. I want to read my book." Then I spoke with friends in English. Sometimes I joined online English groups. We talked about hobbies, school, and daily life. At first, I made many mistakes, but I kept speaking. Mistakes are normal. They help you learn. Speaking every day made me confident. Reading became a daily habit too. I read simple articles, short stories, and easy novels. Reading every day gave me new words and new ideas. I tried to understand the meaning of sentences without translating every word. When I read a story, I like to tell it to friends in English. Reading helped me connect words and ideas. It also gave me new words for speaking and writing. Writing was part of my daily life as well. I wrote a diary every day. I wrote about my feelings, my plans, and my thoughts. I also wrote short stories and letters to friends. Writing helped me organize my thoughts in English. It also helped me remember new words and grammar. I noticed that my sentences became longer and more natural. Writing every day made English a habit, not just something I learned. Music helped me a lot. I listened to songs in English. At first, I could not understand the words, but I read the lyrics and tried to sing along. Singing helped me remember words and practice pronunciation. Songs also showed me how people speak naturally. I learned common expressions and simple grammar from songs. Music made learning English fun and easy. Using apps and online tools was helpful too. I used apps to practice vocabulary, grammar, and listening. Even if I had only 10 minutes, I could learn something new. Small practice every day made a big difference over time. I learned that learning English is about using it regularly, not just studying for a long time once in a while. After about a year, I saw a big improvement in my English. I could watch simple movies without subtitles, read short novels, and speak with friends easily. I realized that making English part of daily life was very important. I wanted to reach a higher level, so I tried to mix all skills together: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I called it daily English practice. Every morning, I listened to a short story or news clip while having breakfast. I tried to understand the main idea first. If I could not understand some words, I wrote them down and learned them later. Then I tried to speak about the story in my own words. This practice helped me improve both listening and speaking at the same time. During the day, I tried to read something in English. It could be an online article, a poster, or a social media post. I underlined new words and tried to use them in my own sentences. Reading every day helped me learn new words faster than memorizing them from a book. It also gave me ideas for writing and speaking. Speaking practice became more regular. I joined online conversation groups and talked with people from different countries. We shared hobbies, opinions, and daily life stories. At first, I made many mistakes, but I learned from them. Speaking every day gave me confidence. I realized that using English is more important than being perfect. Making mistakes is part of learning. Writing also became a daily habit. I wrote a diary, short stories, and emails to friends. Writing helped me organize my thoughts in English. It also helped me use new words and grammar correctly. After some months, my sentences became longer and more natural. Writing every day made me feel comfortable using English. I also tried to think in English. Before, I always translated from my first language. It was slow and confusing. Then I tried to describe my day or plans in English in my mind. I asked myself questions like, "What will I do today?" Or "How do I feel now?" and answered in English silently. Thinking in English helped me speak faster. It also helped me understand English better. Watching movies and TV shows in English became very helpful. I started with simple shows, then moved to short movies. I used subtitles at the beginning. I paused when I did not understand a sentence and repeated it. I tried to speak like the actors. Watching movies helped me learn pronunciation, expressions, and natural grammar. Learning through movies was fun and practical. Finally, I realized that using English every day was the key. Reading, writing, listening, and speaking together made English a natural part of life. Daily practice, patience, and enjoyment made learning easier. After more than a year of practice, English became a natural part of my life. I could speak, read, write, and listen in English every day. But I knew that I could still improve. I wanted to make English even more part of my daily routine. I decided to use it in small ways throughout the day. I continued listening every day. I listened to podcasts, songs, and news for beginners. Sometimes I listened while walking, cooking, or traveling. At first, I understood only a few words, but I kept listening. I wrote down new words and expressions and repeated them many times. Listening daily made English sounds familiar. It also improved my speaking because I could hear how words are pronounced. Speaking became a habit. I spoke to myself at home and described my actions or plans. For example, I said, "I will clean my room today," or "I want to read a book this afternoon." I also talked with friends in English. Sometimes we shared daily life stories, hobbies, or plans. Speaking regularly made me confident. I realized that mistakes are normal and help learning. Every conversation taught me something new. Reading was also important. I read simple news, short stories, and easy novels. Reading every day gave me new words and ideas. I tried to understand the main meaning instead of translating every word. When I read a story, I like to tell it in English to friends. Reading helped me connect words and ideas and improved my speaking and writing. Writing remained a key part of my learning. I wrote a diary every day, short stories, and letters to friends. Writing helped me organize my thoughts and practice new words and grammar. Over time, my sentences became longer and more natural. Writing every day made English a habit and strengthened my confidence. Music was very helpful too. I listened to songs in English and read the lyrics. Singing along helped me remember words and practice pronunciation. Songs also taught me how people speak naturally. Listening and singing made learning English fun and easy. I also used apps and online tools for practice. I practiced vocabulary, grammar, listening, and speaking in short sessions every day. Even 10 or 15 minutes daily made a big difference over time. I learned that consistent daily practice is more effective than long sessions once in a while. Finally, I realized that making English part of life is about using it every day in small ways. Speaking, listening, reading, writing, and having fun with English helped me improve naturally. Daily practice, patience, and enjoyment are the keys to success. English became easy because I used it in real life, not only in books. After more than a year and a half of practice, I noticed big changes in my English. I could understand most simple movies, speak with friends comfortably, read short novels, and write letters and stories. I felt proud, but I knew learning English is a long journey. There is always something new to learn. One thing I focused on was learning new words every day. I did not try to learn too many at once. Instead, I learned a few words and used them immediately. For example, if I learned the word adventure, I tried to say, "Yesterday I had an adventure in the park." Using words in real sentences helped me remember them better. I also learned new words from movies, songs, and short stories. This way, words were connected to real life and were easier to remember. Listening remained a daily habit. I listened to news, songs, podcasts, and short conversations. I tried to understand the main idea first, then the details. If I did not understand something, I repeated it several times. Listening practice improved my understanding and also helped my speaking. I could hear the correct pronunciation and common expressions. Speaking became more natural. I tried to speak in English whenever I could. Even if I made mistakes, I continued. I joined online conversation groups, spoke with classmates, and shared stories with friends. Every conversation gave me new words and phrases. Speaking regularly was more effective than studying grammar perfectly. I learned that communication is the most important goal. Reading daily helped me connect ideas and improve vocabulary. I read articles, short stories, and simple novels. I tried to understand the meaning without translating every word. When I read an interesting story, I shared it with friends in English. Reading every day gave me ideas for speaking and writing. It also showed me how sentences and paragraphs are built. Writing practice continued. I wrote a diary, short stories, and emails. Writing helped me organize my thoughts and practice grammar and vocabulary. My sentences became longer and more natural. I wrote about daily life, dreams, and opinions. Writing every day made English a part of my life. It helped me think in English and improved my confidence. I also learned to enjoy learning English. I played games, listened to music, watched videos, and joined clubs. Learning became fun, not a task. Fun activities helped me continue learning every day. I realized that English is simple if you practice regularly, enjoy the process, and use it in real life. Mistakes are normal, and learning is continuous. After almost 2 years of daily practice, English became a natural part of my life. I could speak, read, write, and listen comfortably. I realized that learning English is not about being perfect, but about using it every day and enjoying the process. One important lesson I learned is that consistency is more important than intensity. It is better to practice a little every day than to study a lot one day and stop for a week. Even 10 or 15 minutes daily makes a big difference over time. I practiced during small moments, listening while waiting for the bus, reading short articles during lunch, or writing a few sentences before sleeping. These small habits added up and created real progress. Another lesson is that learning English is easier when it is fun. I listened to music, watched videos, played online games, and joined English communities. I spoke about hobbies, daily life, and stories with friends. Fun activities kept me motivated. I did not feel stressed because learning was enjoyable. Enjoying English made it part of my daily life naturally. Mistakes became a tool for learning. At first, I was afraid to speak because I made many mistakes. Later, I realized mistakes are necessary. They showed me where I needed to improve. Every mistake became a lesson. I corrected myself, practiced again, and improved. Over time, my mistakes became fewer and my confidence grew. Thinking in English was another key step. Before, I always translated from my first language, which was slow. Then I started to describe my day, my plans, or my feelings in English in my mind. Thinking in English helped me speak faster and understand English better. It became a habit, and I could use English naturally in real conversations. Using English in daily life made learning real and practical. I spoke with friends, wrote messages, listened to news, and read stories. I tried to use new words and phrases immediately. This active use made learning effective. I realized that books and apps are helpful, but real practice is the key. Finally, I learned that English is simple if you approach it the right way. You do not need to memorize long lists of words or learn every grammar rule perfectly. Daily practice, enjoying the process, using English in real life, and learning from mistakes are enough. Consistency, patience, and fun are the keys to success. Now I enjoy English every day. I speak, listen, read, and write without fear. English opens a new world for me. I can communicate with people, enjoy movies, read interesting stories, and write my thoughts. I am happy Because I made English part of my life. English is not difficult. It is simple, and anyone can learn it if they practice regularly, enjoy it, and use it in real life. Thank you all for listening to today's English article. Please do keep going, no matter what. Never stop learning. One day you will see a completely different version of yourself.